to the Erskin Music Show. So glad you guys could join me today. And we had an exciting day planned. You know, we just talk about light topics on this show, and we try to keep it light. We try to keep it fun. Yeah, if you know Erskin Music and you know anything about Erskin Music, you know that we jump on this thing and have a lot of fun. We also deal with some real life issues that are going on out there. And so, good morning, America. Good morning, world. For those of you who are watching in Beijing, it's very early in the morning, and so yeah, you guys enjoy life from that vantage point. If you're still up in Beijing this morning, or if you're in Australia and you're a whole day away, literally in time, transporting yourselves in time, you probably are working the night shift. So anyway, it's good to hear from the international audience. You guys have been plugging in on YouTube, and so I've enjoyed that. Getting a lot of good feedback from you guys on various media outlets. And so we've got YouTube. We've also got Facebook Live and those livers that are out there. And so thank you so much for you guys joining it today on the Erskin Music Show. We're going to mix it up just a little bit. And we're going to be playing some videos from Erskin Music because, you know, that's kind of what this show is all about. For those of you that have never heard about me before, never perhaps imbibed or taken in the Erskin Music mantra, all of that information is scrolling down there at the bottom of the screen, so you can say, who is this guy? And what does he do? And what is the Erskin Music Show? And what is this whole world all about? And so we have that to look forward to. Guests and your comments are always welcome. I always say the snarkier, the better. And so we like to mix it up as far as that's concerned. We are dancing over here. Yesterday we had the Erskin Music Dance Club going yesterday with the song Be Brave. And that was a lot of fun. If you guys have not heard that song yet, it's newly released. It's out there for the world to enjoy. And we're doing a bunch of cool things with that these days. And so anyway, we got the Erskin Music Show. We're dancing into the night. We're dancing into the day. And we are playing. Well, we're not playing anymore. But we were playing some board games last night. Enjoying some family time together. And this is a family show except for on Monday when I said, maybe I said a bad word on Monday. So sorry about that. No more bad words, at least today. We have a special guest that's coming tomorrow. Lydia is going to be joining, and we're going to be talking about life, music, career, family, and all those fun things that Lydia can get a chance to get into. And you're going to enjoy her spirit. I don't think I can find a nicer person than Lydia and a more encouraging person. And if you're an artist and you're out there or looking for some leadership principles or just looking for some inspiration, some encouragement, and some drive, you're going to want to come back tomorrow and check out what Lydia has to say because, man, girls, she's on fire. She is on fire, and she's doing some great things for the Nashville community. So anyway, we will dive into some topics today. We are going to be talking about where people live. That is pretty referentially obvious. If you don't know where you live, then you should probably ask someone. But for those who are living in various states, we're going to talk about what are the best states to live in, what, according to some lists, are the quote unquote worst states to live in. And we're going to talk about where you live. And then we're going to also jump into, and you'll see there's a pretty cool segue that we're going to do here that leads to a topic that we're going to be talking about, pro-life. And so that is coming up on tap. First of all, though, let me give some big shout outs here. We're going to do the devotion for the day. Switch, baby, switch. There's two of us on this thing now. All right. So for the Erskin Music Show, from both angles. Switch, baby, switch. The devotion for the day comes from John chapter 10, verses 9 through 11. Jesus said, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to kill, steal, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. Now, one of the questions that I wanted to ask today in reference to our devotion is, do you know the good shepherd? And then we start thinking also about the quality of our lives and what that actually looks like? Do we know that Jesus gives us, as we talked about on Monday, this peace? Do we know that Jesus is the good shepherd and that he shepherds our soul, that he cares for us? Do we know all these things? And have we experienced these things? It's one thing to know them intellectually, but it's another thing to enter into that peace and to enter into that security that only Jesus can give. And so that's the question that we want to think through today, is that Jesus is the Savior and the one who leads us into the abundant life. You know, all of our lives have been, to some extent, upended. They've been sort of reordered, shuffled, shifted, if you will, by the circumstances that are taking place and have taken place with COVID. But at the same time, could you remark of this time period in your life that it's an abundant life because you've come through this life and you've come through this time period with Jesus? Question to ask and something for us to be thinking about. All right, my friends, your comments are always welcome. The snarkier, the better, I always say. But one of the things that I did want to point to is some of the Erskin music. We have an opportunity to plug that in. So let me get around to, we got kind of a dance theme going this week, and we're going to keep that going. We've got a couple more songs to record this semester. I guess maybe in April or in May. I'll be giving you guys some information about that, doing some studio stuff, give you guys some behind the, well, I don't know what we'll be doing in April. I think we'll be on the Way Forward broadcast. And so this show will give way to another show called Way Forward. But I'll give you guys some up to the minute progress on what it is that we're doing in terms of recording. And I think that's probably going to land somewhere in May. 2 more songs will be in the process of being recorded for an album that's coming out hopefully soon and very soon, called Just Dance. But this song is called Only Love. It is the remix of the song. And so you'll see the majority of the views are on the Only Love video that you can also find on YouTube. Check that out whenever you can. But this song is the dance remix to that. Enjoy. Is this thing on? Is that on there?
A world full of darkness. Yeah, we need a light. With all of the hurting, there's no room to fight. These hands are for serving. Our love needs to move. Let's reach to each other. Oh, there's no time to lose. Only love is the answer to driving out hate. Yeah, love's gonna work when we give it away. Only love is the answer to driving out hate. Yeah, love's gonna work when we give it away. Oh, 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 oh. Only love is the answer to driving out hate. Yeah, love's gonna work when we give it away. Only love is the answer to driving out hate. Yeah, love's gonna work when we give it away. Only love. A world full of darkness. Yeah, we need a light. With all of the hurting, there's no room to fight. Only love is the answer to driving out hate. Yeah, love's gonna work when we give it away. Only love is the answer to driving out hate.
That was a song called Only Love. And that was the remix of that song. So you got two versions that are out there for public consumption of the song and the video Only Love. You can check that out, as well as that dance remix video that should also be up on iTunes and also on YouTube and all those places where people stream and listen to music for my international audience that's out there. All right, folks, let's get into some topics for today. Let's change the topic to where you live. There's a couple of people who are watching today, and maybe some by way of identification, we can get some comments today on the comment section. People are a little quiet today on a Wednesday, but on the comment section, where do you live? You can name the state. You don't have to put your address or anything. I don't want anybody. Nobody's coming to your house. There's going to be no mysterious packages left at your doorstep or anything like that. But what state do you live in? Or if you're kind of like me and you're from the state of Texas, which if you've watched the show for any length of time, you know I'm from Texas. The Texas flag flies high over the Erskin music show. Even though I don't live in Texas, I am from Texas. So where are you guys from? Where are you, the people who are out there who are watching, eyeballs, the ones out there who are listening, where are you guys from? Or where are you guys at? That might be another question that we could ask. Are you in one of these states? Because we're about to go over a list of some of the best states for people to live in. I'm always intrigued when I see these things online that give some idea about where people live and if that's a good state to live in, or and there's the aspect of where you live based on how awesome you think the place that you live is, and we'll have to invariably get into that because Texas was not number one on the list, and I don't even understand that. So we got some folks that are listening and watching from Illinois. So, yep, that's a state. It's on the list, but it's not a good one. All right. Born in Kansas, raised in Iowa, live in Tennessee. Yep, that's where you're at there. Is it North Carolina or is it Tennessee? See, I know Mayoshi. I know she's out. She's somewhere out there. You might have to put North Carolina up on that thing as well and give them a little bit of love. North Carolina's on the list in the middle of it. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this list here and what I'm seeing happen here. Where you live, is it awesome? Would you describe the place where you live as being awesome, or you just say it's okay, or would you say, no, I don't even really like where I live and I'm leaving? I would imagine if you're up in Illinois, you might be thinking it's kind of awesome, but I'm leaving. Or it's kind of not that awesome and I want to leave. Or I don't even know anybody from Illinois, literally, that's just like, it's awesome here. This is the best state ever. The taxes are great. The environment and cold is great. It's the best. I don't know anybody who said that about Illinois. Not to say anything bad about Illinois. I'm just saying I don't know anyone who has said that. So if you're on this show and you want to tell me how awesome Illinois is, that's awesome. Cottonwood, Texas is representing here. Well, we already know Texas is awesome, so yeah, we don't have to put that up in the notes and everything. But here's what we got. According to the securityhome.com, and this is in the show notes and the show link for today, the best states to live in. Here are the criteria, I guess, that they determined are the best states to live in. Population density, how you ranked in terms of it being a really crowded state or being a state where people had some room. The median income, so factoring in finances in. The median home value was a criteria. Violent crime should always be a criteria. The jobless rate, the number of people who had earned or were obtaining a bachelor's degree, that was factored in. Health outcomes. The poverty rate was also indicated on this scale, as well as some other indicators that were on this. Would you like to know what the list said? You can look this up. It's on securinghome.com. But they listed, maybe I'll go in order here. North Dakota was 10. North Dakota, anybody from North Dakota out there? Bill, I hear you listening, man. You're out there from California. California was on the list, but not this one. North Dakota, you are number 10. I've only been to North Dakota one time. Absolutely gorgeous state, beautiful. You're number 10 on the list, according to all these criteria and a few more that we listed here. Vermont, you are also on the list. I have never been to Vermont, but perhaps we should all start going to Vermont. And everybody in Vermont said, don't do it. um, so we got Hawaii at number 8. I guess I can probably see why Hawaii would be on the list in the top 10. I mean, it is Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii, but I have met some people from Hawaii who said, hey, you should come and play a show here. And I'm thinking, yeah, I should go and play a show there. Let's arrange that. Let's just try to work that out here. Um, yeah. So Hawaii, I'm coming for you someday. Colorado. I don't know if my wife is listening in the other room or if she's already working on Latin with the kids, but Colorado has made the top 10. Okay. Well, that's one person's opinion. Colorado is in the top 10. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with all that. I like Colorado. My wife's from Colorado. We go to Colorado as often as we can. The people there are wonderful. My family is wonderful. If you're listening, family, you're wonderful in Colorado. I just don't love Colorado that much because I'm not a real cold weather type person. And so I don't really like the United States this time of year. Any of the states, they're all too cold for me. What is going on here? Send in your coats, gloves, and hats to Erskin Music Show. So also on the list, we had Connecticut that ranked slightly higher than Colorado in all of these categories. Connecticut. I'm like drawing a blank because I've never been to any of these places. There is a place called Connecticut. I see it on the map. I know there's people there. I know they do stuff. I mean, they're doing their thing today. They're going and buying and selling and reading Bibles and telling people about the gospel and going to their job and driving their cars. I mean, I guess they're doing all those things in Connecticut. I've just never been there. Now, another place that's on this list, surprisingly, New Jersey. And I say surprisingly because I have the hardest time navigating traffic in New Jersey. And that whole turnpike situation, can we just be real for just a second? I don't know if my friends from New Jersey are listening to this, but if you get on the wrong road and like instead of having like a turnaround like they do in other states, you are literally going to be on that road for about 20 miles before you can turn around or even think about turning around. And you're just kind of, you're watching your gas gauge go down. You're watching your toll road situation decrease radically at the same time. And you're lost. So yeah, I've not had some great times in New Jersey driving, but the people in New Jersey are incredible. The pace of life is fast. Okay, well, so not everybody in New Jersey is incredible. There are some places where they're less than incredible, but that more than makes up for it because some of my friends in New Jersey are incredible, and so it's kind of like those people kind of balance out the not incredible people who are in New Jersey. My man Dan Bell, he is in New Jersey right now. Shout out to your family. Much love to you, brother. Hey, we're praying for you guys, and looking forward to you guys being able to get back. New Jersey, we love you. You got Dan Bell up there and his family this week, and so you are most blessed and a better state for it. All right, we got on the list number 4, Utah. I was in Utah in March. What a great state, man. If you like to do stuff outdoors, that is your state, man. They have mountain biking, hiking, waterfalls. I mean, you name it, outdoor world. That is Utah to the max. It is Mormon to the max too. So if you're a believer and you're out in Utah, man, we're praying for you. In fact, we prayed last time we were out there. We were at the temple, and there was just a smidge of an earthquake that was out there, knocked the angel Moroni off the tabernacle, the temple up there. And I just thought, how ironic that we would be praying that God would break down strongholds. Conversely, no one now in Utah likes me, except for the Christians that are out there. Nah, Mormonism, like I don't get that stuff, man. That you guys, anyway, we're not gonna get on. That's not the topic for the show. I'm gonna stay in my lane for today. So yeah, Utah, you're on the list. Beautiful state. Some great people that are out. Mormonism, we'll have to deal with that another day. Hopefully relatively soon, because I don't like throwing out topics like Mormonism is weird without substantiating that. I can go through and we're going to talk about the Bible versus Mormonism and kind of how that thing went all off the track. It was great having conversations out there with people. obviously continue to pray for our brothers and sisters who are out there. They're doing some work out there. Shout out to the Mosaic. Anyway, uh, let's get back to the list. Number 3, New Hampshire. New Hampshire, you're on the list. Another state that I like, Vermont, Connecticut, New Hampshire, all those cold places that keep Erskine away during the wintertime. You know what? I need to get up there and I need to see what you guys do. I just need a point of reference. I want to be up here talking about your state and then have no experience with what's going on there. Massachusetts, you are number 2. Number 2, Massachusetts. I got nothing. If you're from Massachusetts, hey, if you're from Massachusetts, can you like call in the show or like get on the comment section there? Yeah, because I got nothing for Massachusetts. And then number 1, you could have looked at the list by now and you probably already know where I'm going with this, but Virginia is for lovers. Virginia is number 1 on the list. This list. Virginia is number 1 on this list. We're about to shift gears here in just a second, but who are the worst states on here? Well, unfortunately, Pennsylvania, you are on the list as one of the top 10 worst states to live in. New Mexico, you made the list. Although I was in New Mexico this summer and it was awesome. Albuquerque and, you know, that whole area. Tennessee is on the list. What? Here's what I had to say to this list.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. Whoever made this list, Tennessee is an awesome place to live. It's not Texas. Come on. It's not Texas, but it is a great state. And I will give a shout out there. See? Look. Listen to this comment. That's what you need to know about Tennessee. Great state to live in, but you made the list as one of the top 10 worst states to live in. Ohio, you are also on the list. And I know a lot of people from Ohio would be offended right now. They're listening to this and like, get that list out of my face. People who are also in Alabama, you're on the list. In fact, every worst list that I've seen has Alabama on it. I've looked at several different lists, and Alabama, you continually make the list. Do you want to move to Tennessee? You're just north of you. Oklahoma, you're on the list. I disagree. Actually, I'm from Texas, and the Sooners and all that nonsense up there. Maybe I do agree. It's one of the worst football states. So take that. Mississippi, you're on the list as one of the worst states. It just gets worse from there, I guess, according to this list. For population density, median income, home value, violent crime, jobless rates, bachelor's degree, health income, poverty, and all these other things. It gets worse because they say Kentucky is on the list as the 4th worst state to live in. Now, I've never lived in Kentucky, but I live near Kentucky, and I mean, the bluegrass state. Come on, they got horses and horse races and stuff up there, and fun seminaries like Southern Seminary and Al Mohler and things like that. I don't know. West Virginia, you are on the list, my friend. I've been to West Virginia before. It's all right. All right. I can work with it. Arkansas, you are the 2nd worst state to live in. And I know my friends from Arkansas, can you do the hog call, the hog sweet kind of thing that you guys do? A shout out there from anybody that's, from Arkansas. Great state to drive through. I'm in Fort Smith from time to time. That kind of is Arkansas. But no, there's some beautiful areas in Arkansas and some wonderful people in Arkansas, but they don't like your state very much on this list. And the worst state to live in, according to this recent study by securinghome.com or on the website securinghome.com, it's also on the show note links, is Louisiana. Even being close to Texas, you couldn't get higher up on the list. And so there's no help for you. Now, Texas, good old Texas. Where's my Texas flag when you need it? Texas is on the list, but Texas is in the middle of the list. It's on number 32. So it's not one of the best states to live in. It's not one of the worst states to live in. It's just right smack dab, basically in the middle. I know 25 would be the middle, but maybe approaching some of the worst states to live in. And my friends at securinghome.com, if you put Texas in the middle of the list, edging toward being one of the worst states to live in, I just want to tell you, I want my sound effect to tell you,
You're an idiot.
you're an idiot. All right, so there we go. So that list absolutely means nothing to me. Get this list out of my face. Get that corn out of my face. Because Texas is not number one on the list. It should be. And Tennessee should be very closely to it. But you do know that there's a maybe a discontinuity between where people live and then how happy they are living there. But I'm going to go a completely different direction because I told you guys we're getting into some pro-life stuff today, and I don't have a lot of time to do it. I've been meandering today and talking about all manner of stuff. Switch it out, buddy. Switch it out. There's two Erskins here. There's two Erskins here. There's three Erskins. There's three Erskins here. There's Erskin, Big Head, Ruby, Scooby. We're all over this thing. So here we go. Yeah, no kidding. All right, so here we go. We got Texas in the middle of the list. I don't even know why people say that, dumb list. But according to the World Population Review, here's a criteria that I think that they should have mentioned on their categories that they have not mentioned. Best states to live in. Best states to live in. And I'm not going to go long on this today because I'm already a little bit too long and I got to get to the gym and get my workout in for the day. I'm on day 10 of a 10-day challenge and I'm about to finish this bad boy up. We're doing 100 push-ups today. We're doing 100 jumping jacks today. You ask me, what's your workout routine? 100 push-ups, 100 jumping jacks, 100 squats with 25-pound weight, and then we're on an 8.41 pace for 15 minutes on the treadmill. We do that every day. We've been doing it for the last 9 days down. I got 1 day to go, so we're going to get out of this show pretty quickly. But here's the deal. How can you consider a state the best state to live in if you can't live in that state? I mean, if it's a state that performs abortions at an incredible and an alarming rate, that is not a good state. And some of the states that were mentioned on there were some of the highest states in reference to abortions in our country. Switch it up. Switch it up. Switch it up. So here's what I want to say about all that nonsense. Some people think that the issue of pro-life has been settled because perhaps we have a president that's favorable toward some of the restrictions, the Hyde Amendment things, international funding, taxpayer funded abortions, and those sort of things. And people think, well, this is a dead issue. Nobody's talking about it anymore. Well, they're talking about it on this show. They're talking about it in the ranks of believers who recognize the value and the dignity of human life. We're going to continue to be talking about it. I'll be talking about it on this show. That's why I do the Erskin Music Show, because you guys see me on stage, you hear me, you hear the songs, oh, that's fun and that's great and everything, but I don't actually get a chance to talk to you about these things. I see a list like, hey, these states are a great state to live in, but if you have no primacy or importance that is given to unborn life, you are not a great state to live in because you can't live there. You can die there in the mother's womb, but you can't live there. The issue is not settled. There are people on both sides of this issue, and I just want to remind you, and I do this show simply to do this. There are people on the issue who avidly would support a woman's right to abort a baby and our government's ability to support that and taxpayers' ability to support that. You're welcome to come on this show as well. I mean, hey, we can talk about it. You can have that strong opinion, but I just want you to know we are not going quietly into the night. 2021 hopefully will be a year of life in which God's people will begin to speak up. And I'm going to use this show and I'm going to use this platform and I'm going to use every single place that I go to tell people we're going to value life because God created us. We're created in his image. Our best effort is to worship and obey him. That's what we were created for, and to give life an opportunity. And so that's what this show is for. Sounding board. If you don't like it, you can leave the show. If you want to talk about it, you can come on the show. I'm not kicking anybody off the show at this point. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to say. This list is virtually, I already took it and I threw it, I tore it up. The list is irrelevant to me. Here's the states that do the best job of life, according to a 2021 study in the World Population Review. That's also in the show notes. We have best life states. Best life states in 2021 was Kentucky. Now, Kentucky didn't make the list as being one of the best states to live in, but in terms of life, and the sanctity of life, that is one of the better states to live in. It's number 3, according to the 2021 study. South Dakota makes the list at number 2, and number 1 on the list is Wyoming for states that value the sanctity of life, and a place where the number of women pregnant and the number of births that actually occur is extremely high. And so Kentucky, South Dakota, and Wyoming, you didn't make the other list, but the other list was dumb because it only factored in economic things and things that are the American, quote unquote, American dream. What about the biblical dream that we would have life and that we would have life in Christ? Remember what I read to you in John chapter 10, verse 10? That Jesus is that life. He comes to give us that life and life more abundantly. What about that principle? What about that study? Well, you know what? Kentucky, you made the list. South Dakota, you made the list. And Wyoming, you're at the top of the list. So God bless you for all of that. At the bottom of the list, and here's how the list gets inverted, there was Maryland, New York, and New Jersey. So don't tell me those are the best states to live in, and don't give me that nonsense about all of these wonderful places because there's art and there's culture and there's good streets and all these. I don't care about your streets. I care about life, and that's what this show is all about. And so let me just again strike that note and just say that you see lists out there and say, hey, I want to live in this state because they got good, they got a Whataburger in this state or whatever it is, or In-N-Out burgers in this state. No, we should all want the place where we live to be a place that values life. So it doesn't matter where you're from on this list. It doesn't matter where you're at and where you're listening to. We should all be the type of people who value life and treasure life at its most important and fragile moments, all the way to, and here's why this show ran long today, all the way to the end of life. Natural birth to natural death. That's the Christian perspective on these matters. And so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, here we go. The issue is not settled because Christians are not going to stop talking about it because this is something that God values. So therefore we value this. But here's the deal. We value the life of the preborn. Yes, you'll hear me talk about that from time to time on this show and light topics such as that. We also value the life of the women and the people who are involved. So I would put another category there, number 2, that would be those who are the ones who are born into this world, who are struggling in this world. For the Christian to say, we're going to come out, we're going to be very vocal about, the subject of abortion and pro-life. We're going to, take that vantage point, but then not do anything about foster care, not do anything about adoption. That's irresponsible. That's reckless. Come on, stop acting like that. We are a foster family. And so for some reason, if you're listening out there and you're like, hey, I got a baby here that needs the life, get in contact with us, man. Reach out through this show. I can connect you with our foster family, obviously there, but other foster families. And so don't let this be a situation where you're looking at it and saying, hey, we have no options here. No, you got options. And our family is one of those options. And so the life of the born, but then also the life of the marginalized. There are people, Black Lives Matter, whatever you think about that statement. I could say Asian Lives Matter, ALM, or HLM, Hispanic Lives Matter, because every life matters, but not every person that's out there values and treasures those lives the same way that God does. And so I want to also put that third category. There are those that have been marginalized out there in our society as well, who need to understand that pro-life is also pro-your life. And that's another reason why this show exists, so that we can talk about some of those light and dainty topics. And so, yeah, the Erskin Music Show, we are rocking and rolling. It's our 3rd day. We got Lydia who's coming in tomorrow. A couple of announcements. Here, let's shift gears. The Dolphins are bringing us to the end of the show. On March 15th, Is He Worth It music video is coming out. Somewhere around in that time, there's going to be some media that's associated with that. You will not want to miss that. The beginning of March, we have another music video that I will be in. I contractually obligated to not say much about that at this point, but you'll enjoy that as well. And then Lydia Walker Athey. She's got so many names, I can't even remember them all. Is going to be a guest on the show tomorrow. We're going to talk about life, family, ministry, career, and all those different things. And we may even be playing one of the songs that we wrote, Mom's Life. So if there's a mom that's out there an artist that's out there, somebody who's, career, somebody who's hustling and trying to get kids, shuffling them all over the place, feeding kids, educating kids, your homeschool moms, your minivan moms, all those different, you're going to want to check it in tomorrow from Mom's Life. Lydia's going, and it's going to be a tremendous time. That is a hilarious song, and we wrote it together, and it's got millions of views, and you'll want to check this song out. If you've not heard it before, it's called Mom's Life, written by Lydia Walker and myself. We had April Pinzer was a writer on that song. Was there other writers on that song? Anyway, we'll get the credits up tomorrow for that song. Tune in tomorrow for the Erskin Music Show. We've gone 39 minutes, a little bit over time today, but I just wanted to say thank you for all you guys who have been tuning in and viewing. Wherever you're from, continue to value life and continue to do what you know that God has called you to do. The time is short, but the opportunities are many. This has been the Erskin Music Show. We're going to sign off today. God bless.